Hello, my name is Adriana and this is the end of the year book tag. So I will start with the obligatory, how the heck is it the end of October? Where did this year go? What has happened? Whatever. Also, this tag was created by Ariel Bissett, so I will link her original video down below. This is kind of become somewhat of a booktube staple, so people don't typically tag or get tagged. Everybody just kind of does it now. So I was not tagged by anybody. I will not be tagging anybody. I will just be answering the questions. So let's get started. Question number 1. Are there any books you started that you need to finish by the end of the year? I've answered this question the exact same way every single time I've done this tag, but that's just not the kind of reader I am. I start a book and I finish it unless there are just crazy circumstances. If I start a book, I am finishing that book and not starting another book till I finish the one I had before. So that is how I work as a reader, how my brain works. It is what it is. Do you have any autumnal books that you're transitioning into the end of the year? I don't have anything that's like super specific, like fall, Halloween, whatever that I'm planning on, but something that I will probably be reading in November that feels kind of more fall and less winter is The Shadow of the Gods. I mean, maybe it is more winter. I don't know. It's like, I think kind of a Viking-inspired epic fantasy, but to me, like, deep epic fantasy is very much an autumnal genre. Something about a thick, chunky fantasy just screams fall. And, you know, depending on when I start this in November, I might be reading it into December. So, transitioning into the end of the year, this might be doing it. Question number 3 is, are there any new releases you're still waiting on for the end of the year? And not anything I'm particularly like waiting on bated breath. I have pre-ordered. I will be reading it the day it comes out. But I guess one last release of the year that I do plan on reading at some point is Bookshops and Bone Dust, the prequels to Legends and Lattes. Like I said, I don't think I have this pre-ordered or anything, but I really enjoyed Legends and Lattes. This seems like it would be a good time. The author is actually fairly local to my area, so that's kind of fun. Love being able to support a Central Washington author. I think this comes out like the week after I post this video, so I don't have to wait long. Question number 4 is, what 3 books do you need to read by the end of the year? I don't have like specifics for this question, like book titles, I guess, for this question, but I do have a project that I need to finish by the end of the year, and that is the Vlog Squad challenge. So I've made a couple videos about it at this point, but this project, endeavor, whatever you will call it, is me and some of my friends on Discord at the beginning of the year shared our favorite books of the year prior, so basically like all of our 5 stars, and then the rest of us picked, you know, one book for each person to read. So, not including myself, I had 9 books to read because there were 10 of us doing it. I've read 6 of those books, so I have 3 people left. I have Ashley from Ashley Reads, Bailey from isbaileyreading, and Lizzie from @Lizzie's Literary Life left. I need to read one of the books out of their picks. So, those are the 3 books I have left that I actually really do need to read because this is a project I agreed to do and then only have completed like 2/3 of it. Question number 5 is, do you think there's any books you could read before the end of the year that might surprise you and become your favorite of the year? And I have almost the exact same answer as last year, and that is, I don't think so, because the Claire Haywood book, The Shadow of Perseus, is going to be very hard to beat. Last year I read her other book, The Daughters of Sparta. It was not a new release from that year, but I read it last year and it was my favorite book. I read her new release this year. It is my favorite book of this year, and I don't see anything I have kind of on my radar for the next 2 months really beating it out, meaningfully beating it out. That's where we're at. with that. And then the last question, question number 6, is have you made any plans for next year? Kind of tentatively. So another book I really need to read by the end of this year is the Odyssey translation from Emily Wilson. And then Emily Wilson also just released a translation of the Iliad. So I think I would also like to try to read the Iliad next year. So that is out of order. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some major soul searching as to how I want to tackle this, because I do want to read Emily Wilson's translations of the Odyssey and the Iliad, but like it's just something in me, it feels weird to read the Odyssey first because it is technically somewhat of a sequel, but whatever. It's fine. We'll figure it out. This is Editing Adriana just jumping in to say I forgot to mention my Reddit Bookish Bingo board as well. It goes till March, end of March, so any books on it that I don't finish before the end of the year, I will be reading in that first quarter of next year. But you can watch my video on it to get a feel for what the rules are, what I'm reading, everything else. As far as like goals for my reading goals for next year, I will probably have fairly similar goals where I want to like match page count, probably still try to maintain a fairly high net galley ratio, hopefully closer to like 80%. I think this year my goal was 75. I don't think I'm really interested in reducing my book spending like as a goal. It's just buying books makes me happy, and like trying to limit the books, and like I think in general like I'm pretty good about only buying books I've either already read and just want a physical copy of because I enjoyed them a lot, or books that I know I'm going to enjoy. Like I'm not just out here like buying, well, I don't know. I guess like when I'm on vacation, typically if I find a bookstore, I will try to buy a book that I don't necessarily know anything about, but that's also like partially souvenir. Again, I don't want to get too much into my book buying habits. I don't want to like make a goal around my book buying habits right now in this point of my life. Reducing my physical TBR is probably a goal I should put in place as far as plans for next year. I should focus on reading my physical TBR and reading books I already own. But yeah, I kind of want to keep it more like loosey-goosey next year. Like not have like too many goals, not try to like optimize my reading too much, just kind of enjoy things and enjoy life. We're gonna try to be zen next year. A lot more zen is the goal with reading next year. And hopefully more 5 stars, higher ratings, enjoying my book reading at a higher degree. But yeah, I think that is all I have for this tag today. Please let me know if you have already started making plans for your reading next year, and thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.